afternoon, everyone. Today's event has been really exciting. We've heard a lot of great opinions and views. It's been really great. So I want to introduce you with this idea that education is just about the biggest uniting factor for most of the people in this room, whether you be a teacher, a student, a graduate, or a parent of a student. Now, school has been evolving ever since the beginning of its creation. We started with one-room schoolhouses and the Little Rock Nine, and now in the most recent change in PSAT and SAT grading. And evolution is great. Change is what keeps us going forward. And yet, nevertheless, I can't help but think about all those times when I was dismissing evolution, more so the times when I was dismissing school, when I really didn't want to go to school, And it's not that I don't like school, it's not that I don't like learning, but it's more so the things that a school entails, such as waking up early in the mornings, studying, homework. And I know I'm not alone on this. A school, by definition, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, is an institution for the teaching of children. And both teaching and learning is great. So why don't we like it anymore? We shouldn't be doing this. Now let me talk a bit more about this. It feels more like our schools are starting to try to prepare students instead of just teaching them. And when I say preparing, I mean preparing them to go to college if you're privileged enough. And not just a college, but the best college. And this best college is supposed to lead you to have a good life, whatever a good life may mean to you. And we all strive to have a good life. Our system has developed a way to judge the aptitude of students so that we can sift out the so-called good from the so-called bad. One of the factors we use to try and sift these students is the SATs. Now, the SATs grade us so that we're all based on the norm. And according to this norm, we're judged from good to bad. Another factor we use are grades. And grades are supposed to also judge us on this norm. Grades represent many things. It's proof that we've completed a course and how well we've absorbed the knowledge that we've just learned. And more often than not, grades come in the form of numbers. And we see numbers a lot. We see them in our everyday lives. When we wake up in the morning, we look at the clock. Then we'll drive to work and we'll see the speed on our car. And students see numbers a lot too. We wake up in the morning and we have to be in class by 8:10 on the dot. More often than not, we'll get out at 3:30. And when we go to class, we'll pay attention to the room numbers. Maybe when we're in class, we'll look at the clock a bit, check what time it is. But numbers play an even bigger role in a student's life, and that's under the form of grades. Now, grades represent many things to a student, and I would say that they're one of the biggest factors that students take into account when they're studying, working hard, staying up late, and having rising anxiety levels. But schools also teach us more than just intellectual principles and creative theories. They also teach us societal behaviors so that when we go to society, we all have the same idea of what to do and what not to do. For example, we shouldn't be running in the hallways. We should wait to speak until we've been called on after we've raised our hands. And we should always listen to our peers. The way this could translate is stop at the red light, pay attention to figures of authorities, and always respect others. And laws are great because, laws are things that keep us from maybe stealing a chair or breaking a window for fun. But the point at which this norm, these laws, this basis becomes a principle on which we become reliant and always trust, and when we start limiting thinking freedom the other person has. We've been talking about the SATs a lot, and I want to come back to them. Because in the SATs, it's standardized. And the answer comes so that there's only one correct answer, no matter what the interpretation of the question may be, and no matter what you think. And if you answer anything else, it's automatically wrong. The answer we've created is supposed to be based on the norm so that we all come and agree to this common answer. The thing is that by only having one correct answer, we've eliminated all other possible answers, and in this, all other possible ways of thinking. And we have to remember this one thing, that our students are our future. And we talk about this a lot to the point where it's become a bit cliched. Yes, we know that the students are becoming the workforce. And we know that there are going to be people who are going to lead our world and are going to call the shots in the business world. But let's put them aside for a bit. Because the people who really make up society are the ones who take the bus to work, or wait in line to buy some food, the so-called average people. And we average people, we make up society. I want to introduce you to the Socratic method, and it's this teaching method that was developed by Socrates. And it was where, for example, if I were to ask one of you a question, you would reply not with a single answer, but through a series of questions back to me, so that I come to the answer on my own. What's great about this is that it's feeding off the knowledge that's already present inside me, and that the answer I come to will be unique because of the way I think, and because of what I know. We've come to a point where we're starting to tell students a certain answer to memorize, and then we keep telling them that all the other answers are wrong. And it doesn't really matter whether or not you're a student, or an adult, or a child, but there comes a point where when you're continuously told that what you're saying is wrong, you start to give up, and you don't want to put in your input anymore. So why should we be caring about this? Why should we care about numbers and grades and SAT scores? The point is that we become materialistic in numbers of all things. And when I say this, I mean that we measure our worth in numbers. We measure our age, our height, our weight, our income, our social security number, and we become defined by these digits. In the same way that when a student applies to college, they'll look at your SAT scores and your grades, and these numbers define you. Let me give you an example. The number 4. We see 4 in our everyday lives. It's become so common that it's small, we don't really appreciate it. But what if I were to tell you that I were to pull 4 people from this room? I mean, it's not a lot, right? Because there's at least tens of us here. You would barely even notice 4 people gone. But the thing is, when you look a bit closer into the lives of each of these 4 people, the people assigned the digits 1, 2, 3, and 4, you will find their lives, the people they know, the things they like to do, where they've been. 4 whole worlds. And when you think about it that way, how is the number 4 not powerful? We're starting to teach people that they need to conform to exist in our society, that they all need to agree on the same common point. And the problem with this is that not only are we eliminating other diverse answers, but what happens when we all come to agree on a wrong answer, a morally wrong answer? Who's going to be there to tell us that what we think is right is actually wrong? We're starting to teach people that society shapes people instead of that society should be shaped by people. It all starts in school. Thank you.